Well, good evening. I'm Dwan, and this is
Angela.
And we are here for Experience Mid-Valley Fellowship, kind of our weekly drop-in to see what's going on in programs tonight. And so we are doing a lesson that's all combined with all the programs together called Forgiveness. And so we'll be digging into that topic a little bit more. Have you had you've had some experiences with either this lesson or with people walking through this lesson? Tell us a little bit about that before I get into some of the detail-y stuff.
Okay. Well, you might be wondering, like, why everybody's doing this tonight. And really, we do this lesson every year because it is definitely such a big part of healing, a healing journey. So if you can imagine our ministry, you know, all the people around here are dealing with wounds at the hands of other people in their lives. And when they carry around unforgiveness, it really prevents them from doing like the full healing. And so it's such an important lesson to be able to free people up from carrying that around with them, and to help them just see that those people that hurt them don't have to have the power in their life anymore. And that's a big part of this forgiveness lesson, is being free from how these people, the woundings, have impacted their lives, and that they can move forward and that they can heal. So it really is one of the most important, I think, for everybody as far as their healing journey.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, when we hold on to unforgiveness, we end up kind of still being attached to the person who hurt us, and sort of they end up having kind of control over us in some sense, even though sometimes people hold on to unforgiveness and go like, well, this is going to protect me from them, when in actuality it ties me to them.
Right.
And so then I end up carrying that, and things like bitterness and hostility develop, which affects us. And so the person who actually ends up benefiting the most is the person who does the forgiving.
For sure.
And it's interesting, in so many of these kind of things, people see it backwards, where it's like, well, I don't want to forgive that person because they don't deserve it, and so I don't want to let them off the hook.
Yeah.
And so, but what happens is I end up trapped and attached to them because I haven't forgiven them, and so then I'm the one who's on the hook. And the other person a lot of times doesn't even notice.
Doesn't even know, maybe.
Yeah.
I think another piece that you talk about in this lesson that has struck me every year is so many people believe that if I forgive that person, then somehow I'm saying what they did to me was okay.
Right.
And that's not true at all.
No. Yeah, because we don't forgive because the person deserves it. We forgive because we want to free ourselves, right? There's a great quote that I heard many years ago, which says, so the opposite of forgiveness is unforgiveness or bitterness, right? Bitterness develops. And so it says, bitterness is poisoning yourself and hoping the other person dies. And so there's this place that when we go through unforgiveness, we just end up kind of feeding the bitterness in us, and it poisons us in different ways. And so it ends up being that we're trapped. We're the one who's being hurt by the unforgiveness rather than the other person. And so it's definitely not about saying that it's okay. We don't forgive because we're saying it's okay. We forgive because we want to be free, right? One of the definitions of forgiveness is to send away, which is one of my favorite ones too, which is basically that idea of sending away bitterness, sending away hostility towards the person, just sending that away and freeing us from them, and being able to move forward in life and not stay chained. One of the great things too is just like how God is with us in the forgiveness process, is in so many things, is that He wants to walk with us through it, and He affirms, acknowledges the pain that we feel, the wounding that we feel, and so it's not about dismissing it. It's about encountering Him in it and releasing that. And I don't know about you, but like on any given day, there can be multiple opportunities to practice forgiveness.
Yep.
And so I have even had an opportunity today, and so it seems like I have it in my notes. It says like, I experienced the need to practice forgiveness. Even this week I had, and that note is in there for every year, and it's true every year that something sort of comes up of just a place where you feel hurt or wounded by someone. And really, one of the best things you could do is walk through forgiveness and be able to be free from that. Yeah. And it's also it is a process. So like there's
Yeah.
I don't remember how many steps it is, like 12 or 13 steps that the lesson lines out of what is involved in forgiveness. And so it's not just a matter of like, you need to forgive them. Okay, cool, great, done. But there's sort of this walking through intentionally and really engaging with all the pieces and all the roots that come with it, or all the tentacles that come with it, and trying to pull all that out and allow God to do a healing work in those places.
Yeah.
So,
And God asks us to do it, right?
Yeah.
In His Word, He basically says you need to forgive. And why does He do that? It's not because He's like, if you don't, you're gonna pay. Like, that's not His heart towards us. It's because He knows that it holds us hostage when we don't. He knows what's best for us, and so He, we're expected to do it. Not, not immediately, like you said. It is a process, and He has to help us to be able to do it. But that's another time where we get to trust Him and we get to depend on Him to help us do the thing that He wants us to do.
yeah. I'm the type of person that kind of enjoys systems and processes to a large degree, and so I've found myself at times talking with people about, like, you know what, God has a process to navigate that, or like to navigate our sin and shame, that the process of forgiveness, of receiving God's forgiveness, right? That we need to receive that so that we can be free from our sin and free from the shame that goes with it. And in the same way, it's the same kind of process, but it's oriented a little differently, in that we forgive someone else, and that frees us also in that place. And that there's life that comes on the other side of that. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So we're expecting God to be doing things tonight in people's hearts, and we get to walk this journey with them. And so we invite you to be praying with us about that, and just that people would be willing to, like you said, surrender those things and let them go and trust God with those wounds. And so they will have the opportunity tonight, and it won't be easy for all of them.
No.
But God's going to take those offerings, and He's going to do something really healing in people's hearts.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, we value your prayers, and certainly if you want to share this video and let other people know to be praying, and also to know a little bit about what happens on Tuesday nights here at Mid-Valley Fellowship, that's great. We love that. And so I think that's about it for us at the moment. But yeah, we value your prayers, and we will see you again next week on Experience Mid-Valley Fellowship. Thanks.